And so we will, I'm absolutely delighted to welcome you here today for what I'm sure is going to be a very interesting discussion about the issue of Christians and Kurds in Turkey, which of course is in many ways, but the two speakers will be in a much better position than I to say why this is so a litmus test, or one of the interesting litmus tests, or the best litmus tests with our Turkey, and how Turkish society and Turkish politics will evolve, and that links, of course, to the whole issue, which I'm sure we'll touch upon one way or the other, of Turkey's place in the region and the world, but also Turkey's place in Europe and perhaps in the EU. And I cannot think of a better place than Paris to discuss it, especially now, because of course we have not only elections in Turkey in June, which are going to be extremely important, but we have extremely important elections in France next year. And if there is a change in the Elysée, we might wake up, perhaps, with very different dynamics in terms of the European Union and France's politics towards the issue of Turkish EU membership. It's not the main topic of our discussion today, but I'm sure the speakers would agree that anything goes, or almost, in terms of what we touch upon. So, again, thank you very much for being here. I probably don't think, probably don't need to introduce to you our two speakers today. I'm, by the way, Thomas Clow. I know quite a few of you, and I work for something called the European Council on Foreign Relations in Paris. Ambreen Zaman is the Economist's correspondent in Turkey. Is also a columnist for a Turkish newspaper called Haberturk, which I just learned means Turkish news, which is really all that means to know. And I think it's fair to say that she's one of the leading, not only one of the leading journalists on the issue, but one of the leading voices in the public debate over the topics we are discussing today. Gerald Knaus, well, Gerald is first, I should say, a member of the ECFR club, but he's also, in his main professional activity, the chairman and lead analyst and founder and key thinker of the European Stability Initiative. He's still based in Istanbul. He has observed the region and the debate from the inside, and he is the author of many publications, fascinating publications on the issue. He could be in a much better position than I to tell you more about the work of ESI, if he wishes to do so. Some of the products of his thinking, or the collective thinking of ESI, are on the table for you to take. And with this, I shall stop and invite Gerald to launch the debate. You'll speak for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then you will...
Not say very much.
Well, we'll make it say more
but very
than...
happy to take lots of questions.
Fantastic, and then we'll throw the floor open and look forward to a really lively debate. Gerald.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, Thomas, for hosting this. Thank you, Ambreen, for coming, and thank you, all of you, for coming. Lots of familiar faces and lots of people very knowledgeable of Turkey, so I think we can have a very good debate. ESI, I will not say very much, except that some of our products are here. These are products of a real team. We have been in Turkey since 2004. We have a team of 6 people that has been working on different aspects of Turkey. Many of our reports, most of them exist now also in French, including the latest. I brought copies, Meurtre en Anatolie, which is about something I'll discuss a little bit. But also our very first report on the Islamic Calvinists and on women in Turkey. They're all available now in French on our website. I've arrived in Turkey in 2004, and one of my first conversations at that time was with a well-known representative of Turkish civil society who was telling me that I was coming too late. That because Turkey would start accession talks at the end of the year, all the excitement was over. Really, there was nothing much to cover anymore. Turkey was in safe waters, and from now on it would be just another ordinary European country. Clearly, this is not quite how things have turned out. Accession talks did begin in 2005, but in some ways the most dramatic period in terms of changes happened after that. The angle that I'll take to look at this which is to look at relatively, really tiny community of Turkish Christians, and then I will extend that to look at a very much bigger minority, the Kurds, and the Kurdish question, allows us to grasp some of these changes and some of these contradictions. But let me say first of all that for all the problems that Turkey does have today, whenever I get depressed, the best antidote is to go back and read up on how things were, not only in 1999, when Turkey received candidate status, but even in 2002, when the AKP first came to government, or 2004. I give two examples. One is the report on, two stories. One is the report on the murder in Anatolia. This was a very specific, horrendous crime which took place in early 2007, where 3 Protestants, 1 German and 2 Turkish converts, were attacked in the East Anatolian city of Malatya. They were there as missionaries for an extremely small community. A total of 30 Christians, including all the children of these missionaries, in Malatya at that time. They had been there for a few years, not very successful making converts, but living there, and they were attacked. They were basically massacred by a group of young ultranationalists who were caught by coincidence on the spot, on the crime scene, when another Christian turned up by coincidence and called the police because he couldn't open the door and heard something going on. So these 5 youngsters were captured, so it was very clear what happened. They were actually caught with the knives in hand, and everything seemed clear. But of course, as the trial opened, 2 dimensions to this trial immediately became apparent. First, this was of course part of a wider pattern of violence around this period. Suddenly, from 2005 onwards, at the very moment when Turkey started its EU accession talks, there was a wave of attacks on Christians across the country. Protestants, missionaries, priests attacked throughout Anatolia. Sometimes they managed to escape, sometimes they were just beaten up. A Catholic priest shot in Italian Santoro in Trabzon. Hrant Dink, of course, the Armenian journalist, shot outside his office in Shishli in early 2007, and then in April 2007, this murder. Part of a wave that was also accompanied by an extremely aggressive campaign in the media, and by the creation of a whole set of new institutions, literally all set up around this time. The Mr. Keric's and his lawyers' association, bringing some Christian missionaries to trial, bringing independent intellectuals to trial, bringing Hrant Dink to trial. It was actually only created in 2006, an ultra-nationalist lawyer. Other associations like the Kuvay Milidernei, the National Forces Association, recalling the memory of Atatürk's war of independence, with offices throughout Turkey, set up in 2006. The Noel Baba Association, the Hagia Sophia Association, and a whole group of ultra-nationalist Ulus Öcalan outfits, all created in 2006. And as you looked closer, it turned out that they were